is a major ruling in a case involving President Trump's financial records, and it appears to be a win for House Democrats. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams, I think, is ready to go for us now. Pete, if you are, can you talk to me about what we're hearing about this ruling?
Well, I have the ruling here. I'm reading it now. This is a 2-to-1 ruling by a 3-judge panel of the Washington, D.C. Court of Appeals in favor of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform. This is the Elijah Cummings Committee. This is the committee that in April sent a subpoena to the accounting firm of Donald Trump asking for some financial records. And this followed Michael Cohen's testimony that said the president would inflate his net worth when he was trying to get favorable consideration for building projects and would underestimate it when he was trying to make insurance claims or other financial transactions, and that he wasn't fully reporting all the payments that he made involving the hush money payments. So the House committee subpoenaed records from Donald Trump's accounting firm. And the firm said, well, I'm sorry, we can't do that. And this went to court. The House committee won in the trial court, and then the Trump's lawyers appealed it to the D.C. Court of Appeals, which today ruled again in the committee's favors. Now, the argument against releasing these records by President Trump's lawyers was that the only time that Congress has the right of access to these documents is for legislative purposes, and this sort of a hunt that the committee was on, Trump's lawyers said, didn't satisfy that criteria. But today, in this 2-to-1 ruling, the court says, yes, it does. So this obviously, the Trump lawyers can try to appeal to the Supreme Court. They can try to get an injunction to or a stay on the judge's order to try to stop this. But for now, it's another victory for the House Democrats in this continuing series of lawsuits that are now working their way through the courts, both on access to testimony from Trump administration officials and access to financial documents related to the president.
Pete, forgive me if this is an obvious question, but is the Supreme Court, you mentioned it there, is that where this would go next? Is that the next step if the president's attorneys choose to escalate this?
They have a choice here. If they choose to appeal, and I can't imagine that they wouldn't, they can either go to the full Washington, D.C. Court of Appeals. The way it works in federal court is when you appeal, it always goes to a 3-judge panel, not the entire appeals court. But that is one option, is to go to the full panel, and then the other option is to go to the Supreme Court, and lawyers often decide, where are their best options, where are they more likely to prevail. The Trump administration has had some success in getting stays on lower court orders from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court doesn't usually like to do that, but they've had some success, and I would predict that's probably what they'll try.
NBC's Pete Williams. Pete, thank you very much for bringing us that breaking news. I appreciate it. As soon as we hit a commercial break, I will text the president's attorneys and see how they plan to respond. I know our team's working on that. I appreciate it. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.